I'm going to say this. You can take it with a grain of salt because, again, this is my youth. Now, I did not get this specific set in my youth. I wanted this because, of course, I saw it in a brochure in my youth. I never got any of the boats when I was a kid. This set was released in 1973. Set number 311 Ferry. It is a boat that floats. Fantastic. I have a few of these now. Came out in 1973. It has figure 0, MSRP 0, unknown. Let me find the lugnet page. Lugnet says elements ? I pulled them all. I should have counted. I didn't realize there was a question mark for a number of pieces. Not a lot. Really not a lot at all. But I just finished putting this together. It didn't take me too long to pull the pieces. We'll talk about some other things. But right now, this is a cute little boat that will float in your bathtub or in the lake or in the pond or wherever there's a body of water. This boat will float in it. Now, this is a boat also that came with a weight. You just plug into the bottom, but it's just going to be in the way, so I'm not going to bother to put it on. So it will not capsize when you put it in the water. All these 4 pieces are hollow. There's air inside. There's no way for water to get in unless you poke a hole in it. But they all come together so you can make a longer boat if you have more of these hull pieces, and we'll get into that in a second. But so you can make a very, very long boat or a very, very short boat just by putting the bow with the stern or any size in between. Each of these boat hulls are approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 studs long, but they're really offset. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 8. So 8 studs. It has an overlapping here, an underlapping here, overlapping there, underlapping there, and that's how they connect together. So it's a brilliant, this one's busted. I got a few of those in my collection. But, and this is the only blue one I have, by the way. I got a lot of red, a lot of black, but I don't know where I got this. I got this in a used lot relatively recently. I remember getting it. I remember buying the lot because I had this piece. So I was hoping for the rest, but this is the only blue piece I have. So, but you can see that it's sealed, 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 and sealed, and sealed. And this, I've never tried taking the piece out of here. I don't know if it's glued or clipped in. I don't feel like breaking it or trying to take this thing off, but this will float because, of course, the water would have to sneak in all the way at the top, and that doesn't happen unless it's very wavy. So, set number 311 is a ferry boat. You got the little windows, 1x1 bricks. You got the macaroni pieces, clear, white, red, and black in this thing. It came with a lot of macaroni bricks. It was always a lot of fun. A lot of 1x1 bricks with solid stud on the top. Kind of cute, kind of dated, kind of showing you what the era is on this thing. And a lot of basic pieces, 4x10 red, 4x6 red, 4x6 white, yellow bricks and plates, more macaroni bricks back there. So in the end, when you look at this thing, it's a really cool looking boat for 1973. Now, of course, these days you would find very, very detailed boats that not necessarily float. Lego's been releasing boats that float and boats that are just models since I was a kid, possibly even before I was a kid. So it depends on any given year whether or not you get a hull that will float or a hull that doesn't float. Like the Black Sea Barracuda will not float unless you really work at it. I didn't try it, but I can guarantee it's not a floating boat like this one. But it looks cute. It looks like a nice little thing you would buy for your kid. Now the stickers are a little old because there's a seam here. So whoever put the stickers on, again, I got this in the used lot, whoever put the stickers on, put it across the seam because I think that's what it says you're supposed to do. And of course you take these pieces apart and therefore you're gonna get that. I probably would have put it on one piece only, either this one or this one. But the instructions say put it right in the middle, and of course you got the ripped seam, which is what's gonna happen. I haven't bothered fixing that. Picture of an anchor, Legoland on the back, Legoland. So yeah, this thing is quite understandably from Legoland. Also came with 2 tires, so if you're not near the water, you put the tires on the bottom. There we go, one there, and one back here. Let me see, it's kind of hard to do with me standing behind the camera, right there. And then you can just push it across the floor. So, you know, they thought of everything back in 1973. But for aesthetics, I'm taking these off because I'm looking at the boat. As I say, I remember as a kid seeing these in the brochures, but never getting one. And I was very, very disappointed as a kid because we go down to the beach all the time. We go to the pond all the time. We go to the pool all the time. And I never had any Lego like this to take to the beach, to the pond, to the pool. I didn't get any of these boat pieces until I was well into my 20s, and then again, and used lots. So, it is what it is. It's one of those little things that I remember as a child that I wanted and never got. It did not ruin my childhood at all, but I do remember coveting, wanting, desperately, not desperately enough to go buy my own, but wanting this piece, one of these sets. This is the second one I built. I can't remember the set number of the other one I built, but I did a review on it years ago because I wanted to actually build one of these things. But I thought, while I was here, I was cleaning up the Lego room, and I thought, I'm going to try building it. And it took me all of 10 minutes to pull the parts and throw it together. Because again, as you can see, it's all bricks and plates. Nothing too fancy, nothing too out of the ordinary. Besides the boat hulls, if you have a collection from back then, all the pieces in here are ubiquitous to your collection. There's nothing in here that's extraordinary, except for the boat hulls. What I do like and what I do appreciate, well, I'll say, what I do appreciate about the early 70s sets that I used to get, like the trucks and whatever, the trans clear bricks do a lot of work in maintaining the overall illusion that this is a model of a real boat. So you can see these are just 1x1 bricks, trans clear bricks there and there. And this is a 2x2 macaroni brick and a 1x2 clear brick there. It looks to scale. I do like the scale here, the early 70s scale. It's not 100% accurate because again, the trucks that came out at the same time, the 6x trucks, are well out of scale to this thing. But it's almost like the minifig scale versus the other model sets they were releasing at the time. So they had a couple scales, and they weren't rivet counter to make all the scales perfect, but it worked good enough for you in your playroom to have these sets work with the other sets at the time, like the houses and stuff, and the little cars, little vehicles. I wish I had one within grasp, like the ambulance that I built the other day. Or this guy, there we go. So kind of to scale to the vehicles back in the day ish. Boats are usually a lot bigger, but you know, there's a scale here that's pretty consistent from back then. And I did admire that. The one thing I did when I was building this boat is I realized that, yeah, they did an illegal technique that, you know, most people call up other Lego fans, but I used to do this all the time back in the day, where a plate is placed vertically between two studs. It's right in the instructions. I didn't realize that until I was building it. So that's yet another data point from the 70s where they just kind of put plates right in the middle between two studs of another plate. It is what it is. I never thought it was illegal. I still don't think it's illegal, and I don't care if people do. So that said, while I was cleaning up and, you know, having fun, so I mentioned that I have this blue one, so that's one. I have this other red one, so I could possibly make another one of these ferries, but they put the Legoland in the back, so it's not across the seam. But this guy has these broken pieces, and again, they were broken before they got to me. It is what it is. Not much I can do about that. And as I say, they come apart like that, and you can add more. So you can even put this blue one in the middle like that, right? And then just make it. I think we need a bigger boat. And then we have a bigger boat. Look how easy that is. So you get a lot of these sets, and you can make either a catamaran or whatever else. But I do believe that this guy is from the same set as that. But then I also have this set that was missing the bow. It's again, broken piece on the side, but this one has like gray pieces on it instead of white pieces for to build on. And it's a firefighter set. I could look it up. I just haven't bothered because it is missing the bow, and I just haven't bothered trying to complete it. So that's the red out of the way and the blue out of the way. But then I have these guys. So you can see this one's smaller than the red guys. It's missing one center part. It's just bow, one center part, and stern. So I would imagine that this set would have been cheaper, and I'm going to build this at some point because I got 1, 2, and 3 of those over the years. So, and these black ones are pretty much mint. There's no cracks or breaks in them. So I'm gonna probably build all three of those things, maybe. I don't know, I'll have to see. And then I got 5, and again, this is what happens over the years. I got 5 of these weights, these kilo weights. 2 of them are like this, with nothing on the bottom, and 3 of them have the hinge or whatever at the bottom. I guess they had 2 different lots for these things. But they are heavy, of course, because you put them in the bottom, and you put them like that. They got the double high studs, just like the supports that came in the monorail, and that just holds the boat from allowing it, because again, when you start putting bricks on the top, it gets top heavy and it will tip over. So you put the weight on the bottom, just like a sailboat, and then you're good to go. So but you do have to be careful taking them off. Remember that, because you could pull this piece off of this piece. So that is going down memory lane back into the early 70s when it comes to the boats in the 70s. They have since had other iterations of boat lines over the years that I like just as much, but the quaintness and the cuteness and the simplicity of these original ones, I really, really like. And, you know, and again, the newer ones with the more details and whatever else, also fantastically awesome. They are different, obviously, than this one. Each generation had their charm and had their negatives. The negative in this one has to be the detail. But again, I like the lack of detail and the fact that when you look at it, it looks like... I have to look at the instructions again. I just can't believe that's what happens. I just noticed something. So I'm gonna hit back. I'm on Piron. Of course I'm on Piron. No, it's supposed to be like that. I was just looking at these white studs sitting on the top without the plate over it. But I really do like the simplicity of the model, and yet it conveys, and that's the word I'm looking for, it conveys exactly what it is. And it looks like it's supposed to be what it is. And I do appreciate that. So, a really quick review of set 311. I didn't bother counting how many pieces. Not many. And as I say, not too many unique and or rare pieces in here besides the boat hulls. I did build this set. I made sure the macaroni bricks were era specific, so they don't have the reinforcement in the centers. Other than that, I didn't bother trying to find the original 4x10 plates or whatever, all the other pieces. I just grabbed them out of my collection. They could be old or they could be new. I didn't care. So the trans clear bricks are era specific. You can see it's got the little tube in the middle, which they removed, the little pin, sorry, in the middle, which they removed in the later 1x2 trans bricks, so you wouldn't see it, but you can see it here and here. And the 1x1s obviously are original. You can, I think even on this one, you can see the injection mold right there on the side. Usually I work at hiding that, but I didn't want to do that this time, just to show you that I did use era specific 1x1 trans clear bricks, but the 1x1 white and the 1x2 whites might have been made out of the mold last year. I didn't care. But that's how I roll. Certain things I want to nitpick about, but overall, I'm not going to find an era specific 4x6 white plate out of my collection. I could have, because I'm sure I got some. I'm sure I have some, but I just wanted to build this, so I didn't bother looking for era specific. Like even the 2x. I've got to remember to clear my iPhone storage before I start making these videos. I keep on forgetting that. iPhone storage full, stops the video. As I said, it is nuance, and if I was going to build this to sell it, I would have put effort into finding all the era specific bricks for this thing. But you know, I have all the 1x1 round bricks have solid stud. every single one of them, because, well, I can. So there is that. But I think if you look at the 2x2 slopes, you'll see the injection mold in the top. And yes, you do, because I just went into my 2x2 45-degree slope bin and grabbed 2. I wasn't going to find error specific ones of those. Now, chances are the parts that I can grab are gonna sometimes be error specific, but I wasn't counting on it. But the clear, the 1x1 round bricks, blah blah blah. I made sure they were error specific, because you would notice that immediately. You'd have to look at the actual studs to tell the rest are error specific. But this is just going to be on display. I may. Let's see what I got here. Ta-da! Yes, I have these, and this one actually works. I may go to the pond with this guy. I'll build something that can hold it under there, like using 1x2 Technic bricks or whatever, and just take a video of this thing going across the pond. I don't know yet. So, and I got 2 more of those too, by the way. I honestly don't. There was a story about how I got these three motorized Lego motors. I don't know if it was a shop at home order, like way back in the day when the internet first started. I know I got at least 2 of them via mail, and I think the third one I got in a used lot. But and I also believe I didn't test any of them except I put battery in one and it turned on. But I believe there's one of these that doesn't work without a little bit of work. I think a battery blew up inside, and I just opened up one through a battery and then turned it on, and it worked. So I just needed that for the video. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take this to a pond at some point, and just watch it go and see what happens. But it's right now, the snow is still melting, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. So this is just going to go up on the shelf for display for now. And I just wanted to put one more set together tonight before I went to bed, because I loved cleaning up the room. And one day, maybe soon, I am going to show you my bin of boat hulls / other big, large, extra large pieces that I put in one bin just to get them out of the rest of the collection. But that is it. That is all I need to talk about today. I am tired now. It's after 1 a.m. and it was a busy day today, even though we did nothing, which was nice. And so yeah, I am good to go. So I hope you guys are all well and doing okay, and I will talk to you soon.